Do you think I can do this, Bruce? He's sleeping. He doesn't care. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to D&D with Song. Let's get right into the D&D. Ladies and gentlemen. That's dumb. Hold on. Alright, dudes. We're talking about races and character creation today. I want to talk about making characters, because we talked a lot about, like, how to play a little bit, but, like, how do you make the thing to let you do the thing? Let's talk about it. I'm not good at Mythical Morning. Get out of here. I need to talk to you guys about character creation. So, you're going to need some supplies. First and foremost, you're going to need a character sheet, which is just a piece of paper that is your character and stuff. Good job, John. That's a perfect explanation. I'm going to throw a link in the description to a essentially zip file of all the character sheets on the official Dungeons & Dragons website. I'm not gonna there's no pirating here. You just get it. You just go and get it and go take a look, because I'm gonna throw it up on the screen. Ruthie, my editor, is gonna throw it up on the screen at some point, and I want you to know what you're looking at. So put a character sheet up there. Look at that. That's crazy. So this thing right here, this piece of paper is probably one of the most important pieces of paper in Dungeons & Dragons, and it's all about you. Well, not you, your character, but so this piece of paper is super cool and is a collection of information regarding your character, both technical and flavor. You're going to have a lot of numbers, but you're also going to have a lot of sentences and paragraphs that describe your character in aesthetic detail as well as emotional detail, and go into who they are as a person. Get that out of here. The first thing in the step-by-step character creation guide that's all over Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is races. Races are essentially your species, and let's back up a second. Hold on. I want you to imagine a world where there are multiple deities. Like, there's not one god, there's a lot of gods, and they're kind of it's like Greek mythology, how the gods were human in a lot of ways, or at least not emotionally stable in some ways. But imagine a world where there's a bunch of gods, not just one, and each of them kind of had a hand in making a bipedal, intelligent species. And yeah, that's it. That's the races. The races in general were made for a variety of purposes. For evil gods, they made their species things to serve them. They are bound to the servitude, servant, I don't know how to say that, of that evil deity. And the worship of that evil deity permeates an entire culture in those species, usually. On the other hand, you have a bunch of good-natured creators who gave free will to choose to be good or bad to the species that they uplifted. So we've established the world, that there are deities, they uplifted species, and many of these species live together in harmony? That's not the right word. They don't kill each other a lot, at least the ones in the player's handbook. The most common races are probably humans, dwarves, elves. What's another common one? I should probably look this up and not step on my own toes here. The 4 most common races are humans, halflings, elves, and dwarves. These guys are very common. The dwarves and elves kind of have longer lifespans. The humans and halflings don't have as crazy of lifespans, and they are super versatile. The reason that they permeate so many societies is because they are versatile as races. They can go into many environments and thrive. What does choosing a race entail? What does it give you? What's the point in choosing a race? The race you choose is your genetic heritage. You were born to parents of this species, and that species has certain traits and things that they've evolved to carry with them, and things that they were given by the deity that uplifted them to be cool. The benefits that you receive from your species are racial traits. First and foremost, your race will increase your ability scores. We haven't really gone over what the ability scores are, but we'll get to it. Basically, there are 6 stats that decide your abilities physically and mentally. Your species will kind of bolster certain ability scores because they have a predisposition to be strong or dexterous or intelligent or wise. Your species or race will also decide when you become an adult, like what age you become an adult, and how long you are bound to live, the average lifespan of people from your species. Your race will also have a little bit of bearing on your alignment, which is your predisposition toward law or chaos and good and evil. And being that some races were uplifted by evil gods and some by good gods, you're going to probably be bent in one direction or the other, barring some cataclysmic event or some strange happenings around your birth or something like that. A blood curse can do that kind of stuff and alter your view of the world. Generally, a race will have a predisposition to be good-natured or evil-natured. Humans are the most versatile of the races, given that they have the capacity for great wonders and great depravity and horror. So if you want to be something without dealing with the hassle of cultural dissonance, you can be a human, and evil humans are found all the time. So your size is an interesting part of the game as well. It kind of determines your average area. Between 4 and 8 feet is the medium size. Between 2 and 4 feet is the small size. And some player-controlled races are considered small, and so different rules will affect them differently. The size of your creature, your player-controlled character, will affect how certain things play out. They can squeeze through smaller spaces if they're tiny, or if they're a tiny creature, they can move through the spaces of other bigger creatures much more easily without being hampered by difficult terrain and all those good, wonderful rulings that we're going to totally get into. Your species or your race also decides your speed, meaning how fast you move when traveling and how fast you'll move in combat. The average speed is somewhere between 25 feet and 30 feet, and that's not, overall, you can only move 30 feet in your life. That's not, it's 30 feet per period of 6 seconds, we'll say, at a light, brisk jog or something like that, or walking speed. Your walking speed is about 30 feet per 6 seconds, or 5 feet per second, or something like that. As you get into traveling, you will use that to decide how far you can go in a day. How many miles can you travel in a day on foot? And then if you have a horse, your horse has a speed, and you will decide how far you are able to travel with the horse's speed. Remember to let your horses rest, people. Literacy is generally something that's assumed. Language is an integral part of society and culture, and so it occurs within most every race. Most races will get their own racial race, but you also get common, which is the common tongue for all cultures and all races. There are some races that won't learn common, but there are many that do, and it's a necessity. You need to be able to converse with a tavern keeper who is an 8-foot tall orc while you're a 4-foot tall dwarf. There needs to be a common ground upon which you can meet to do business. So in addition to all this wonderful information that you get from a race, there are also sub-races. Sub-races are unique to some races and are essentially a subspecies within the parent species of elf or dwarf. It's hard to decide whether these differences are purely cultural or if they are fundamentally adaptive in terms of evolution or adaptation. But generally, they are different in function, and you will receive different traits from your subraces. I will say, subraces receive the traits from the parent race. They do that. If you are an elf and you are a high elf, you get the elf benefits and the high elf benefits. You don't have to choose between your parent and your subrace. Don't worry. It is important to be conscious of the relationship between two different subraces, because how your character will treat another dwarf that's of a different clan is important. You need to know how they respond to members of other sects of your kind of aesthetic choice. That's kind of races. There are 9 races in the player's handbook. Many of them have sub-races, such as elves and dwarves and halflings and gnomes, but some of them don't, like half-orcs and tieflings and humans. I will say that humans, while they don't have sub-races, they do have ethnicities, which is a very interesting, purely aesthetic choice. Building a character, the first thing you want to do is decide your genetic heritage, your race, your species. Which god uplifted your race? What kind of cultural differences are you going to have between your race and other people's races? Are there certain religions that permeate your race, and are you going to be a part of that? Is there an alignment disposition to your race, and are you going to break the mold there? These are interesting questions to ask yourself when you're building a character, and I highly recommend you ask them. Next up, we will probably talk about classes? Which essentially is your job as an adventurer. Listen, it's not easy doing all this stuff for free. It is fun, and I do enjoy it, and that is why I do it. But there are these people over here who support me and put forth time and energy to making sure that I can make the best videos I can. And I want to say thank you to all of them, and if you want to throw me a buck, the Patreon link is in the description. If you like this video, like it. If you feel like subscribing, I super appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Johnny Song, and I will see you next time. Bye!